Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Chrome Soft Golf Ball from Callaway.
From inside our Golf Channel Worldwide headquarters, I'm George Savaricas, and this is your Golf Central update. Keeping an eye towards the end of the FedEx Cup playoffs with the Tour Championship. Remember, it's that staggered start, so Scottie Scheffler will begin play on Thursday in Atlanta at 10 under par. Viktor Hovland, the closest chaser after winning the BMW Championship. He's just a couple back at 8 under. Todd Lewis spoke with Scheffler about the Tour Championship and his season thus far.
Scottie, I followed you for a number of years. You seem to live in the moment. You don't like to live in the past. That being said, we know what happened here last year. You still in the moment?
I try to live in the moment as much as possible. I think that gets challenging with all the distractions that we have kind of in our world. So I do my best to try and stay in the moment. But yeah, last year was obviously not the way that I wanted to finish off the year. I definitely envisioned it finishing a little bit differently, but that's part of the game. You're going to win some and lose some, and that was a tough loss. But I would say part of that loss is what helped me, finish off the players like I did this year. And anytime you fail, I think you learn a lot about yourself, and it's the same thing when you succeed. I'm always just trying to learn and do my best.
All right, what did you learn?
From last year here?
Yeah.
I learned a lot about how much I like to fight in those moments. Looking back at last year's final round, I lost my lead really, really early in the round. I think I may have already lost it by like hole 6 or 7. I kind of gave myself a good talking to on number 8, and then I felt like I played really, really good after that, and it was a lot of fun going down the stretch. Obviously, I wish I would have finished with a couple birdies instead of, I think I maybe bogeyed 16, but I mean, being in that moment is a lot of fun, and I'm excited to get back and hopefully be in a similar position this year.
We're at the end of the season. As you look back on this season, how would you define it?
I would say just very consistent. I think it's been one of my best years as a professional just based on the consistency. I think being a professional golfer, I always want to win every single tournament, and anytime you don't, you're always frustrated at the end, and so you kind of get used to living a life of frustration when it comes to golf. But I'm definitely the most proud of my consistency this year.
Yeah. How do you manage your internal expectations? Are they difficult to put together?
To manage the expectations?
Yeah.
I would say, I have very high expectations for myself, and that's part of coming out and just trying to play freely is having the confidence to have those really high expectations, but then when it comes to going out and playing, just going out and trying to do my best, and that's why I try to focus on hitting good shots versus focusing on the results. I'm just focused on trying to control what I can control and go out and execute.
All right. Final thing, and I'm not trying to sit here and point out a flaw in your game because you're a great player, but your putting has been a little interesting this year. We'll call it that. You seem to be hitting the ball in the center of the club. Are you feeling that you are hitting where you want it to go?
On the greens?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my putting's been talked about a lot this year, and it's been a long season in terms of that. I think that I've used a couple different putters this year, which, when it comes to me changing equipment, I've never been great when I'm switching around stuff, and. I actually, oddly enough, I had some time on Monday this week, and I went back and I watched a lot of stuff from the beginning of the year, and I saw a lot of really, really good strokes and a lot of putts that got really, really close to going in and didn't go in. And so looking back on the year, I felt like if I would have stayed a little bit more patient with the putter that I've used, I mean, it's a putter that I've won 6 times with. I've accomplished a lot in my career with a certain putter, and I had 2 rough weeks at putting at Colonial and Memorial. Memorial, where I didn't feel like I was putting very good. Colonial, where I felt like I was rolling it nice and the putts just weren't going in. And I kind of abandoned my putter, which sometimes you got to put to the side, put it in timeout a little bit. But as I reflect on the year, that's one thing that I've learned about myself is I'm not great when I'm trying to change. And if something's not going right, it's best to just stay the course and stay patient. And like last fall, I used the putter for 6 rounds that I loved at home, and I brought it out on the course, and I couldn't make anything with it. I used it at CJ Cup. I mean, I missed everything, and I felt like I was hitting good putts. And so the switching for me is not the best strategy, and that's something that I've definitely learned as a player is find something that I know and trust and then go for it.
How about that? When it comes to putting, that Scottie Scheffler has commitment issues. So you're committed to this one?
Yeah, I'm committed.
Hey, I wish you the best. Thanks for your time, Scottie, as always. Appreciate it. You got it. Thanks.
The penultimate group on Thursday features Rory McIlroy and Jon Rahm. Rahm begins, as you see, 4 back of Scottie Scheffler. Todd Lewis also had a chance to talk with the 4-time PGA Tour winner this season, Rahm, ahead of the first round.
Jon, let's talk strategy. When you're chasing a lead on Sunday and you're 4 back, or maybe even the weekend and you're 4 back, you're used to that maybe. What's the attitude you bring when you start a tournament 4 back and you're chasing?
I don't know. I don't think you think about it differently, right? It means technically it's a good thing because you have more time to make up those 4 shots. It can happen in the first 5 holes. It can happen on 18, or you can actually go the other way. So it's in my mind, it's a positive though. You got more time to make up, right? The pressure is on whoever's leading, and all of the rest, the 29 of us, need to make birdies to catch up. And it's funny because we've seen it all, right? We've seen people in the lead win it. We've seen people come away from behind and win it. It's happened. It happened last year. Rory was, 10, 11 shots back after 2 holes last year and ended up winning. So anything can happen.
What do you have to do well here at this championship layout?
Everything. It's a golf course that doesn't allow you to have any part of your game to be off to really have a chance to succeed, right? Obviously, with this format, we have an advantage over some people, but you have to put it in the fairway because this Bermuda rough is very difficult to control. Those greens tend to be a little firmer than most. And if you're missing those greens, they're quite slow, quite elaborate. Again, Bermuda rough, it can be a little bit tougher, right? So you have to put in the ball in the fairway. If you put in the ball in the fairway, you have a short enough club for the most part to where you can be aggressive and try to attack for birdies, right? The times that I feel I've been really successful here is the times where I giving myself great chances, and those greens are so pure that I think eventually you're going to make a couple putts, right, and just kind of hopefully ride the momentum.
How would you describe your game right now coming into this championship?
Well, scores haven't been the best, but it's one of those things that as a player, it feels better than the scores are showing. So I'm confident that this week can be the week where everything kind of shows.
Is that frustrating for you, knowing that you're playing better than the scores indicate?
Yeah, I think it's frustrating for anybody.
Right.
Well, you feel like you're doing things and you're working towards a goal and you're doing well, and it feels better than you should be, right? Yeah, I think it would be frustrating to anybody to not get the outcome that you expect. But that's golf. I mean, it happens, right? I think I really enjoyed a part of the year and the end of last year where maybe I was getting a lot out of how I was playing, right? So it's all a balance. It's never forever. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I know I can do well and have faith, because this takes a turn in no time, right? The sport, everything goes from 0 to 100 very quickly in both ways. So it's one more week, and I have full confidence I can get it done.
Final thing, let's talk about this year. Let's talk about this season. You win multiple times. You get top 10s in 3 of the 4 majors, of course, highlighted by your win at Augusta National. As you reflect back on this season, it looks, from our perspective, like it was successful. What's your perspective?
It's very successful. Listen, every year I come here and I get this question, and I always have the feel of I wish I would have done more. I come here with,
and like you said, that's golf, right?
With 10, 15 top 10s and 1 win, and this year I can say, even though I've had a couple months where I haven't played my best, this is an incredible year, right?
Yeah.
I achieved almost all the goals I had in mind very early on the year. By April, I checked a lot of things on my list. So that's nothing but successful, right? If anything, it's a learning process when you accomplish so much so fast. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to learn from myself, even at my best, right? So this year can only be described as a very, very successful year.
Yeah, it's a joy to watch you play. Wish you the best this week. Thank you
very much.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.